she said. The Prime Minister was addressing the graduation ceremony of the DSCSC 2018-2019 course of the Defence Services Command and Staff College, DSCSC, at Mirpur Cantonment in Dhaka this morning. A total of 215 officers, 118 from the Bangladesh Army, 29 from the Navy, and 23 from the Air Force, as well as 45 overseas officers from 19 countries graduated this year from this college. Since its inception, this college has successfully completed 43 staff courses for the Army, 37 courses for the Navy, and 39 courses for the Air Force. In her speech, the Prime Minister said, "The success of the armed forces has heightened the image of Bangladesh. They will also have to play the important role in progress of the nation and maintaining democratic and constitutional stability so that the government could take forward the country's development spree." The Premier said, "The armed forces are a symbol of the country's independence and sovereignty." Sheikh Hasina said, "In the backdrop of today's changing global security scenario, the role of the armed forces has got new dimensions." Keeping this in mind, the Defence Service Command and Staff College has given due importance to this issue in their training syllabi, she said. She underscored the need for making the training and syllabus time-befitting so that the members of the armed forces could move, keeping pace with the world. The Prime Minister instructed graduating officers of the college to remain prepared for undertaking higher leadership role as well as perform responsibilities with integrity. The Commandant of the college, Major General Inayatullah, delivered the welcome address at the function. Prime Minister of France, Edouard Philippe, has greeted Sheikh Hasina on her appointment as the Prime Minister of Bangladesh for the 4th term. French Ambassador to Bangladesh, Marie-Annick Boden, handed over a congratulatory letter from the French Prime Minister to Sheikh Hasina when she paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister at her Shangshud Bhavan office this evening. After the meeting, Prime Minister's Press Secretary Ihsanul Karim briefed the newsmen. In the message, the French Prime Minister said, "The election of the 30th December in Bangladesh mobilized a large number of people as well as all the political parties, and the vote casting showed the aspirations of the people." During the meeting, they discussed various issues of cooperation related to climate change and women empowerment. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina said, her government has been working for the development of women in Bangladesh since her 1996 term. Prime Minister's Office Secretary Sajjadul Hasan was present. Visiting Chairman of the International Cricket Council, ICC, Shashank Manohar, has highly praised Bangladesh cricket, saying Bangladesh team are playing very well. He made the remarks while paying a courtesy call on Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina at her Shangshud Bhavan office this evening. Prime Minister's Press Secretary Ihsanul Karim briefed reporters after the meeting. Shashank Manohar said the ongoing cooperation between the ICC and the Bangladesh Cricket Board, BCB, will continue. The Prime Minister said she has been patronizing games and sports, particularly cricket, since the beginning of her first-term office in 1996. Sheikh Hasina said she watches cricket matches, encourages the players and talks to them. BCB President Najmul Hasan Papan was present on the occasion.
Liberation War Affairs Minister A.K. Muzammil Haq told us that the government has taken a plan to construct a hate monument in the capital in order to express hate at the state level to the Pakistani occupation forces and their collaborators. He told this while replying to a question in the question and answer session in the Parliament today. Earlier, the sitting of the House resumed in the afternoon with Deputy Speaker Mohammad Fazle Rabbi Miah in the chair. In reply to a question, the Liberation War Affairs Minister told that they would publish the list of the freedom fighters within the next month. He said that the government also has a plan to increase the freedom fighters' allowance in the next fiscal year. Responding to another question, AKM Mozammel Haq told the Parliament that all graves of the freedom fighters will be preserved. In replying to a question, Environment, Forest and Climate Change Minister Mohammad Shahabuddin told the House that 71.64% brick kilns of existing brick kilns have been adopted mortar technology. Later, several parliamentary standing committees were formed. The committees are Parliamentary Standing Committee on Railways, Labour and Employment, Information, Home, Housing and Public Works, and Expatriate Welfare and Overseas Employment Ministries. Later, a general discussion was held on Thanksgiving motion on President's speech. Taking part in the discussion, the Parliament members told the House that the flow of the remittance, economic growth and per capita income has increased, while poverty rate reduced in the last 10 years. They said revolutionary changes have come in the communication and health sectors this tenure. The Speaker said President's speech is the milestone in country's history. Speaker Dr. Shireen Sharmin Chaudhry also presided over the session. The sitting of the House will resume in the afternoon on February 10. Awami League General Secretary Obaidul Qadir has said the BNP is now facing image crisis at home and abroad for its misdeeds like corruption and terrorism. He said that at a press brief at Awami League President's political office at Dhanmondi in Dhaka today. About the Upazila election, Obaidul Qadir said, as much as the candidates will take part in the election, the internal democracy will become more stronger. Replying to journalists, Obaidul Qadir said that the parties who have no moral courage to contest in the election, their future would be drowned into darkness. Today was the last day for submission of nomination forms at Awami League office, but Awami League office Secretary Dr. Abdul Subhan Golab has said those who could not submit the forms today, they will be allowed to submit the nomination forms up to noon tomorrow. Finance Minister AHM Mustafa Kamal has expressed his hope for achieving the revenue collection target by the National Board of Revenue (NBR) in the current fiscal year to boosting a win-win situation with the private sector. He expressed his optimism while briefing reporters after holding a meeting with the leaders of top trade bodies and business leaders at the NEC conference room in Dhaka today. Among others, Prime Minister's advisor on private industry and investment, Salman F. Rahman, Bangladesh Bank Governor, Fazle Kabir, the NDR Chairman, Mosha Hussain Bhuiya, Finance Division Secretary, Abdul Rauf Talukdar, FBCCI President, Shafiul Islam Muhyiddin, and business leaders of various trade bodies and associations attended the meeting. Stressing the importance of the private sector, which accounts for 80 to 82% of the country's economy, AHM Mustafa Kamal said there is no alternative to it to move to the country forward. Finance Minister also informed that to encourage the investment, the rate of bank interest will be declined.
Information Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood has said BNP leaders lost sense of proportion following huge defeat in the 11th National Parliament election. He said this while addressing the inaugural function of a workshop of district information officers organized by Department of Mass Communication at the Press Institute of Bangladesh in the capital today. Director General of Department of Mass Communication Mohammad Zakir Hussain chaired the inaugural function, which was also addressed by Information Secretary Abdul Malik. Dr. Hassan Mahmood asked the district information officers to discharge their duties with morality and utmost sincerity to build Bangladesh as a developed country. He said, district information officers have been tasked with presenting the government's development activities, including the 10 initiatives before the common people, alongside creating mass awareness against drug abuse, eve-teasing and child marriage. Dr. Hassan Mahmoud said, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is dreaming of building a developed nation and implementing it through Vision 2021 and Vision 2041. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has assured New Delhi's cooperation in resolving the long-standing Rohingya crisis in Bangladesh. His assurance came when visiting Bangladesh Foreign Minister A.K. Abdul Momen sought India's support for early repatriation of Rohingya people to Myanmar's Rakhine State as he met the Indian Premier in New Delhi today. During the meeting, the Indian Prime Minister reaffirmed India's sincere commitment to Bangladesh's prosperity and development and viewed that Bangladesh-India relations are a model between the two neighboring countries which need to be showcased for a wider audience around the world. The Foreign Minister expressed his satisfaction on the excellent bilateral relations that exist between the two countries. Dr. Momen is visiting New Delhi on his maiden official tour as the Foreign Minister of Bangladesh to attend the 5th meeting of India-Bangladesh Joint Consultative Commission tomorrow.
Now, international news. A Taliban official said on Wednesday the United States has promised to withdraw half of its troops from Afghanistan by the end of April, but the U.S. military said no time frame had been set. Abdul Salam Hanafi, speaking on the sideline of a meeting in Moscow between the Taliban and other prominent Afghan figures, said American officials pledged the pullout will begin this month. But Pentagon spokesman Army Colonel Rob Manning said the U.S. military had received no orders to begin withdrawing. A U.S. military spokeswoman in Kabul also denied an immediate troop withdrawal. Theresa May and Jean-Claude Juncker have distorted the talks on changing the Brexit deal as robust but constructive. The European Commission President stressed the withdrawal agreement could not be changed, but he said the EU was open to adding words to the not briefing future relations document that does with it. The two leaders agreed to meet for further talks before the end of February. Theresa May is insisting the UK will not be trapped in the backstop, the plan to avoid the return of Irish border checks wherever UK-EU trade deal is agreed. Law Minister Anisul Haq has said that the person contravening the human rights will be prosecuted as the government has taken stand against human rights violations. He said this to the journalist after the meeting with a 5-member UN delegation at the ministry today. Anisul Haq said the ministry has expressed the opinions and commitments of the government about human rights enforcement in the meeting. The UN organization are willing to cooperate with Bangladesh in the matter, he added. Senior human rights advisor to the UN, Heikki Alefsen and Shoko Ishikawa were present at the meeting, among others. The National Vitamin A Plus campaign will be observed across the country on Saturday, February 9, aiming to feed Vitamin A Plus capsules to all children aged between 6 and 59 months. Health Minister Zahid Malik said this to the newsman while addressing a briefing at his Secretariat office in the capital today. The total number of children, around 25 lakh aged between 6 to 11 months, will be fed one blue color capsule each, while around 1.94 crore babies aged between 12 to 59 months would be fed red colored capsule. They will be fed the vitamin A capsule at some 1,20,000 permanent and 20,000 mobile health centers across the country. A mobile health center will be set up at bus stands, railway stations, launch terminals, airports, ferry terminals, bridge toll centers and care ghats, and these will remain open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. to make sure that all children are fed the capsules. The parents are requesting to bring their children with full stomach to be fed the vitamin A capsule. Children should not be fed the capsule forcefully or while they're crying.
The Election Commission has declared the schedule for the second phase election of 129 Upajila Parishads, slated for March 18. The EC Secretary Hilaluddin Ahmed declared the polls schedule at a press conference at the Nirbachon Bhavan in Shere-Bangla Nagar of Dhaka this afternoon. As per the schedule, the last date for submission of nomination papers is February 18, date of scrutiny is February 20, and the deadline for withdrawing nominations is February 27, and voting will be held on March 18. A two-member delegation led by Brazilian Ambassador to Bangladesh, João Tabajara de Oliveira Jr., called on State Minister for Fisheries and Livestock Muhammad Ashraf Ali Khan Khusru and exchanged views about livestock, increasing protein production and cow import. The Brazilian ambassador assured their cooperation as the Bangladesh side sought technological support. Bangladesh requested a written proposal from Brazil to develop livestock sector, and the ambassador consented. Replying to a question about importing meat from Brazil, the state minister said, Bangladesh import policy does not permit to import meat commercially, but under the Vienna Convention and diplomatic policy, a limited amount of meat import is not restricted through the diplomatic channel. The High Court today declared the government policy formulated in 2012 to stop coaching business at all the government and private educational institutions as valid. The High Court bench comprising Justice Sheikh Hassan Arif and Justice Razik Al-Jalil passed the verdict after hearings on separate writ petitions in this regard. Lawyers in their submission to the court said, as per the verdict, teachers cannot run coaching classes flouting the policy. Now news on sports. Dhaka Dynamites will face Kumilla Victorians in the final match of the BPL Cricket 6th edition tomorrow. The match will start at 7 o'clock in the evening at Mirpur Shere-Bangla National Stadium. In the first qualifier match, Kumilla beat Rangpur Riders by 8 wickets and reached the final. Dhaka defeated Rangpur in the second qualifier match by 5 wickets and reached the final. In the previous 5 tournaments, Dhaka Gladiators bagged championship title for 2 times, while Kumilla Victorians, Dhaka Dynamites and Rangpur Riders became champion 1 time each. To end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina asks armed forces to contribute more to the nation's progress and maintain democratic and constitutional stability in future. Pillar of hate to be erected in Dhaka for expressing hatred to Razakars and occupation forces. Liberation War Affairs Minister tells Parliament. BNP suffering from image crisis at home and abroad for alleged corruption and terrorism, comments Obaidul Qadir at press conference. BNP leaders lost sense of proportion after miserable defeat in elections, comments Information Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood. Schedule for the second phase of Upajila elections announced. Polling on March 18. High Court maintains coaching business by government and private institution teachers illegal. Verdict upholds coaching business stopping policy 2012. US pledges to pull out half of troops from Afghanistan by April. And in BPL cricket final, the Dhaka Dynamites take on Kumilla Victorians tomorrow.
And that is all from the newsroom at the moment. Thank you for staying with us, and we invite you to watch our 11:30 Bangla news. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.